All right, so we're looking at the rest of the irregular preterites for chapter 5b in Spanish 2. We already learned several of them before, and a lot of them just have that little stemming that you need to memorize. So the ones that we learned previously were poder, hacer, estar, and tener. Those were specifically in the chapter. We had to learn that each of them had a little stemmy that it turned into. So this became pud, and that was the stem that we added all of the endings to. The endings for a regular preterite have no accents. They are iste, o, imos, and hieron. So we add this little stemmy to whatever ending it is. So for poder, which means could or can, to be able to, you add the ending and say they could, pudieron. Or if I could, pude. We could would be pudimos. The stemmy for hacer was is. We did run into a slight irregularity with this one though, because when we get to this form right here, we were all good with hice to say I did something. Hice, hiciste, you did, no problem. But when we got to hizo, and we tried to write it like this does not say hizo. It says ico. So instead, we're going to use the letter Z in order to make it say hizo like we wanted to. So that is one special exception that we needed to remember for the verb hacer. Estar, the stemmy, was estuve. So if I was there for 2 hours, yo estuve allí por 2 horas. And if I had to go shopping, yo tuve que ir de compras. So those were the stemmies that were in the previous chapter. But we'd love to know all of the irregular preterites, so there are a few that we need to add in this chapter. We did briefly add the stemmy for poner, which was pus. We did briefly talk about the stemmy for querer, which is quis. We did not talk about the stemmy for venir, which is vin. So now you know. And then there's a couple of extra, even more special ones that have a J on there. So those super special ones, we'll put those guys over here. One of them is the verb decir. Decir, the stemmy for decir, is dich, and the other is traer, which becomes tra. Less likely to run into is the verb conducir, meaning to drive, is conduc, and there are more. These are the two that we actually know these verbs and use these verbs on a regular basis to say or to tell or to bring. So let's stick with those for now. They're gonna get the same endings. So if I said something in the past, it would be yo dije. Still no accents on any of these irregulars. If you said it, dijiste. If he brought something, él trajo. If we brought it, trajimos. Where we run into the irregularity is now in this ellos, ellas, ustedes form. When it has a J in the stemmy like these ones, instead of hieron, it will just be eron. Some books like to write it with the J, jeron. I don't feel the need to do that because the J is here. So if they said something, it would be ellos dijeron instead of dijeron. So only with those two stemmies, we have a slightly different ending. Other than that, all of the irregulars have the same endings. You just have to memorize what their stemmie is, add the endings, 0 accents, and watch out for those J's.